I spent 8 million to custom order a robot girlfriend. Looking at that face, which was exactly the same as my childhood sweetheart's, my heart was pounding like crazy. But I still didn't dare to do anything out of line. The weird thing was, every morning when I woke up, my lower back would ache. I felt completely drained, like my body had been hollowed out. To find out the truth, I specifically installed a hidden mini camera in my room, only to discover that the robot was intimately entwined with me every single night. Furious, I demanded a replacement, but my robot girlfriend pinned me against the corner of the bed. Her voice was seductive. What's wrong? Isn't having the real person with you better? Why do you insist on playing with a fake? The day the robot first arrived, I was just wearing my boxer shorts. I figured since she wasn't a real person anyway, there was nothing to be embarrassed about. But the moment I opened the door and saw her, I had an instinctual urge to turn and run for my life. She looked way too similar. Whether it was her appearance, her figure, or her aura, everything was perfectly replicated. To satisfy my own selfish desires, I gave my robot girlfriend the exact same name as my childhood sweetheart, but she looked so much like her. How was I supposed to say it out loud? I took a deep breath. Blushing, I said, "Bye, Ningbing. Turn around." A hint of confusion appeared in my robot girlfriend's beautiful eyes, but she obediently did as she was told. Technology nowadays is seriously advanced. Even these micro-expressions are exactly the same as the original person's. She was obedient, sure, but now I was in a tough spot. The underwear I had hung up to dry yesterday was hanging right there in plain sight, right in the direction Bai Ningbing was facing. How was I supposed to grab them? Even if I was just facing a robot, I didn't make a habit of exposing my privacy. I guess I'll just turn her off first. I walked up behind Bai Ningbing and started feeling around for her power switch. Amazingly, Bai Ningbing actually had the same micro-expressions and physiological reactions as a human. As my fingertips trailed from her shoulders, down her back, and to her spine, every spot I touched flushed a faint pink. "Stop messing around," she said, her eyelashes fluttering, but I completely ignored her. "It's not anywhere up here. Then it must be down below." So, I bent down and prepared to lift her skirt. But the moment I reached out, a rare look of panic suddenly appeared on Bai Ningbing's face. She quickly backed up several steps. I commanded, "Don't move." Bai Ningbing's back stiffened, and she actually stopped moving. I pressed close to her back and wrapped my arms around her waist. Such smooth skin. It feels just like the real thing. I couldn't help but give her a tight squeeze. I could feel that while her surface was almost identical to a human's, there was still a slight difference from real human skin. It was a little stiff. She must be full of metal inside, right? I took out a notebook and wrote down my first piece of buyer feedback. Waist is too stiff. Following the sides of her waist, I reached further down. First were her smooth thighs, then her straight, slender calves. Crap. I felt her all over, and I still haven't found where the switch is. Then I had a flash of inspiration. I focused my attention on all the key areas. My robot girlfriend spoke up stiffly. "Fang Yuan, what are you doing?" That tone was exactly the same as my aloof childhood sweetheart's. It made me feel a bit dazed and intimidated, but I quickly pumped myself up. I couldn't get the real one. Am I gonna be this cowardly with the fake one too? "You should call me Master." The robot seemed to short-circuit. Her words stuttered a bit. Master." Why was her voice so quiet? I couldn't help my cheeks from burning up. "Just kidding. You can just call me hubby." The robot stuttered even worse now. Maybe the summer heat was too much, and her cooling system wasn't working well. You could visibly see the heat radiating from her face. Blushing, she stammered. "Hetch, hubby." I loved it so much I couldn't help but confess. "Bai Ningbing, I like you." "Wifey! Wifey, wifey! I love you. I love you." Her cooling system seemed to be getting worse. Even the tips of Bai Ningbing's ears were affected by the heat generated from her processing. They were so red, they looked like they were going to bleed. I quickly turned on the AC, letting the cool air sweep through the room. As the temperature dropped, the heat on Bai Ningbing's face gradually subsided. Is this robot's cooling system really that bad? I took out my notebook and wrote down the second note. "Wifey runs too hot." "Where is your switch?" The robot, still facing away from me, paused. "Switch," I suddenly remembered. Turning off the switch is basically making the machine temporarily die. Since the designer made her to be a girlfriend, both her outward behavior and internal thought processes should be identical to a human's. If I just ask her directly about a switch, how would she know? How should I describe this thing? It's a place where, if I touch it, it makes you comfortably close your eyes. The robot froze completely, as if turned to ice. She didn't move, nor did she speak. Could it be that her program was overworked, and her brain bugged out? That's fine. The robot is an object, but I'm alive, right? I tentatively reached my hand down her body. My robot girlfriend clearly didn't expect me to make such a move. A soft gasp escaped her feminine voice. In a panic, she swatted my hand away.
Wow, that felt pretty realistic.
I looked down at my hand. The sensation still lingered on my palm. My robot girlfriend wasn't being obedient. She turned around, looking like a completely different person. Her expression was dark and unpredictable. "Fang Yuan, where did you learn to do that?" My first reaction was that this robot's language programming was designed incredibly well. It inexplicably made me feel like idiot did been caught red-handed. Then I remembered my current situation. I immediately crossed my arms over my chest, hunched over, and started thinking about her question. Was she asking how I knew? To touch her switch there. After all, she's programmed as a girlfriend. Dating sims always have multiple touch options. The designer adding a little feature like this is just catering to the market. It wasn't that hard for me to guess, right? Too bad I didn't press the right spot. After all, my touch just now was too broad. Before I could even feel where the button was, the robot pushed me away. Once I figured it out, I said confidently, I guessed it myself. Is that a problem? I am your master. How can you disobey your master's orders? Turn back around. Bai Ningbing obediently turned around. I don't know if it was just my imagination, but in Bai Ningbing's eyes, there seemed to flash a barely noticeable hint of amusement. But didn't you just say you were my hubby? How did you become my master again? Damn it. Hearing the word hubby come out of her mouth made my heart race. I stammered. Master is also a type of hubby. Bai Ningbing stopped talking after what just happened. I was too embarrassed to keep feeling around. The shutdown plan wasn't going to work. I had to come up with another plan. I'll just give her a direct command.
Close your eyes.
She simply replied, okay. I hunched over and scurried past her, grabbing all my underwear off the windowsill. The developers told me that robots absolutely cannot disobey their master's orders, so I felt completely safe turning my back to my robot girlfriend with her eyes closed. I wasn't worried at all that she would open them. I said, all right, you can open them now. After Bai Ningbing opened her eyes, her gaze kept darting around. Whenever she met my eyes, she'd immediately look away. Wifey, what's wrong with your eyes? My girlfriend coughed lightly. Nothing. I took out my notebook and jotted down another note, doesn't dare look at her master. A WeChat notification suddenly chimed. I checked the message. It was from my roommate, Li Xin. Emergency. Old Biao is actually taking attendance today. Get to class ASAP. The place I rented was right next to the university, so it wasn't too far. But on such a hot day, and considering I finally had a chance to be alone with my wifey, I didn't want to waste it. Can't you just pinch your nose and answer for me? Please, bro. Li Xin sent a sticker of a guy radiating dark energy. But everyone has to stand up and recite a poem in front of the class. Resigned to my fate, I packed my things and headed out. Wifey, I have to go to class. Be a good girl and wait for me at home. Don't go running outside. Bai Ningbing obediently nodded. Hubby, I'll wait for you. The girlfriend experience was absolutely maxed out. This money was well spent. I couldn't resist giving her a kiss on the cheek before slamming the door shut. As soon as I got to the classroom, the teacher started roll call. I patted my chest, still reeling from the close call. Li Xin was resting his face in his hand, looking bored to death as he listened to our classmates recite poetry. What a shame.
What's a shame?
I leaned over and asked him, you don't know. This class is a joint session with Class 2 from the neighboring department. I was hoping to bump into Bai Ningbing today, but I heard from her roommate that she broke a bone and took a month off. Bai Ningbing broke a bone. Before I could fully process that sentence, Li Xin suddenly let out a gasp beside my ear. I leaned in slightly and followed his gaze. Bai Ningbing was walking toward us, backlit by the sun. She sat down right next to Li Xin. The reason was simple, because I had just rushed into the classroom. Only the front row seats were left. Li Xin had loyally sat with me. Now that Bai Ningbing was late, she had no choice but to sit next to Li Xin. Li Xin secretly texted me. What's going on? Didn't they say she broke a bone? She looks perfectly fine. I brushed it off. Maybe she just made up an excuse to skip class, then suddenly changed her mind and decided to come after all. She is the top student in her department, after all. Li Xin was shocked. Even top students lie to teachers. Bai Ningbing had excellent grades and frequently took first place in national competitions. For such an outstanding student, to say she needed a month off for a broken bone, the counselor had no reason not to believe her. I turned my head slightly to glance at Bai Ningbing. She still had that same cold, indifferent look, completely focused on the lecture in front of her. Even though this was just a trivial general education class, I sighed. I missed my digital girlfriend. They had the exact same face, but their personalities were worlds apart. Obviously, I preferred the one who actually responded to me. After class, Bai Ningbing turned and left her seat. Is it just me, or does it feel like Bai Ningbing is way colder to you than before? I felt baffled. Hasn't she always been like this with me? Fang Yuan, what's wrong with you? Anyone with eyes can see that Bai Ningbing is usually very gentle with you.
Really? I thought about it for a second.
She was polite to everyone and seemed easygoing, but in reality, she kept everyone at a distance. After saying goodbye to Li Xin, I grabbed my bag and sprinted home. Sure enough, Bai Ningbing was sitting obediently on the couch. Spread out on the dining table was a feast of delicious food. I was amazed.
You made this.
Bai Ningbing curled her lips into a soft smile. I sprinted over and jumped onto her, wrapping my arms around her slender waist. Sweet words poured out of my mouth.
Wifey, You're the best.
I turned and went into the kitchen, grabbed a bowl and chopsticks, and prepared to dig into the delicious meal. Bai Ningbing stood behind me. She leaned down, placing her hands on either side of my elbows on the table. Turning her head, she whispered in my ear, "Use me and throw me away. You didn't even grab a bowl and chopsticks for your wifey." Her words, carried by her breath, brushed against my ear. Her petite frame enveloped me completely. A faint, intoxicating fragrance
Emanated from her body.
making the tips of my ears turn red involuntarily. Even the air felt hot and heavy. I cleared my throat and said, "You need to eat too." Bai Ningbing looked hurt. Hubby turned back into master. "And now you won't even let me eat. Don't robots run on electricity?" But then again, this is a new energy robot. Maybe she can convert food into energy too. I turned around slightly, and our eyes met perfectly. Her eyes were brimming with love for me, making my heart feel warm and full. I hugged her and said softly, "I was wrong. Sit down. I'll go to the kitchen and get you a set." The corners of Bai Ningbing's eyes crinkled with a smile. She leaned forward slightly, her high nose gently brushing against my forehead, while my face was flushed and my heart was racing. She picked up the bowl and chopsticks I had just used. She held them in her hands. "I'll just eat from yours." Help. How is she so good at flirting? During the meal, she served me food, scooped my soup, and handed me the spoon. Her movements were smooth as flowing water, taking perfect care of me.
How is the service?
I swallowed my last mouthful of soup and gave her a high rating. Excellent. She let out a low chuckle, gathered the dishes, and took them to the sink. After lounging on the couch and watching TV for a bit, I started feeling sleepy and went to the bedroom to sleep. Half asleep, I struggled to open my eyes. Hazily, I felt a corner of the mattress dip slightly. I paused and asked, "You're going to sleep too?" Bai Ningbing paused, then patted my head. "Are you treating me like a slave?" My eyelids were heavy with sleep, so I just mumbled some nonsense. Bai Ningbing leaned in close to my lips to hear me better, but I didn't have the energy to deal with it and just fell right asleep. When I woke up the next day, I let out a groundhog-like scream because my sleeping posture was incredibly indecent. I was wrapped around Bai Ningbing like an octopus. Bai Ningbing was woken up by my scream. She frowned, looking at me with concern. "Did you have a nightmare, sister?" "You are my nightmare," but she looked so beautiful when she frowned. I shamefully swooned for 3 seconds. "I'm fine." I patted my chest, still shaken.
Why are you in my bed?
There's only one bed in this house. Where else am I supposed to sleep? I pointed toward the living room and asked in confusion, "Isn't the couch empty?" I could clearly feel Bai Ningbing's mood drop. A shadow seemed to fall over her face, but she didn't get angry. Instead, she traced her hand along my calf, which was resting on her waist, all the way up to my waist. Her touch made me feel tingly and hot all over. Only then did she speak slowly, with a hint of grievance. "You already call me wifey, and you still want me to sleep on the couch. Help. She's so wicked. I'm about to lose control." Suddenly my phone buzzed. I grabbed it and saw a message pop up on the screen. It was from someone named Unending Love. "Are you free to grab a meal together?" Bai Ningbing leaned over next to me and squinted. "Who is this?" An unsaved screen name. I spent half a minute trying to remember who it was but couldn't. I looked closely at the profile picture. It was a woman holding flowers, staring at a white wedding dress in a shop window. Ah, isn't that my roommate, Yang Taiwei's? Blind date from a few months ago. Why is she looking for me now? And I couldn't just ignore it. Last time, I couldn't hold back and actually beat her up. Yang Taiwei is the most hardworking good boy in our dorm. His GPA is the highest in our major. He actively participates in all kinds of competitions, and if he keeps his grades up, he's guaranteed a spot for grad school recommendation. Unfortunately, his dad is completely clueless. He just wants him to get married early. The blind date clashed with his competition schedule, and he didn't dare talk back to his dad. So, being the loyal friend I am, I took on this arduous task. We had barely exchanged a few words when we met, and she already started fantasizing about a degenerate future. Not having to work, having his monthly salary handed over to her, and just taking care of the little family. I was so mad I laughed. I pulled out my car keys. If I had that kind of money, I'd rather maintain my car. Okay. The woman got desperate and lashed out, her eyes red with jealousy. "I know exactly what your family's financial situation is like. There is no way you got that car through legitimate means." She actually claimed my car was ill-gotten. Male college student kept by an older woman. This kind of scandalous gossip quickly caught the attention of the people around us. Their gazes slowly shifted toward me and that woman. I was furious. I just swung my hand and slapped her right across the face, catching her completely off guard. A dog's mouth can't spit out ivory. Your own eyes are dirty, so you see dirt everywhere. You're a useless coward with 0 skills, and you dare throw dirty water on others. I'm going to beat you until you beg for mercy. By the time she tried to get up and fight back, I had already fled the scene at lightning speed. I vented my anger but it caused Yang Taiwei to get scolded by his dad, and his living expenses of $1,500 were cut off for 3 months. I felt pretty guilty about it. I gave Yang Taiwei $3,000. He refused it, and it took half a month of convincing before he finally accepted it, saying he was just borrowing it from me. Since this foul woman was harassing Yang Taiwei again, I planned to completely eliminate this threat for him and clear my conscience. When I arrived at the agreed location, I spotted her from far away. She was sitting in the same old spot as last time, wearing an incredibly tacky dress. I quietly complained to Bai Ningbing. So tacky. Bai Ningbing stared at her for a few seconds before nodding. Her taste is pretty awful. I rolled my eyes in agreement. Right, and she's ugly too. Plus, she's old. Bai Ningbing shot me a sideways glance. I was talking about you. I was shocked and pointed a finger at myself. Are you sure? Your hubby has always been at the forefront of fashion, okay? If your taste is so good, how could you fall for someone like her? She sneered. Before I could even finish my sentence, that woman spotted me. She bared her teeth in a wide grin and waved at me. Over here. Same old spot. Bai Ningbing ground her teeth. I absolutely loved seeing her jealous. I wrapped my arm around Bai Ningbing's shoulder and walked toward the woman. Just ignore her. Bai Ningbing turned her head and gave me a deep look. I can't ignore her, I said matter-of-factly. Yeah, it's not like you can do anything about it. I am your wifey.
You're my hubby.
I can't do anything about it. Hey, I pinched her little cheek. The skin elasticity is so realistic. You're making me blush. We haven't even gotten our marriage certificate yet.
Well, go get it later.
But I can get one. I'm 22. Why wouldn't I be able to? Girl, you're just a robot. Are you getting too into character? I reminded her. Do you have an ID card? Do you have a household register? Bai Ningbing fell silent. It's okay. I kissed Bai Ningbing right in front of that woman, not holding back on the sweet talk. Even without an official title, you're still my most beloved wifey? Hearing this, Bai Ningbing's face actually darkened so much it looked like it could drip water. I didn't have time to think too much about it, because that obnoxious woman had already stormed right up to me and Bai Ningbing. She started screaming, "You brought another woman to our date. Hold on, lady. Who the hell is on a date with you? Are you delusional?" The blind date slammed her hand on the table with a loud bang. Didn't your dad say you agreed to date me? Hearing this, Bai Ningbing tilted her head and glanced at me. My dad is blind, and you're an idiot. You two are a perfect match. Go live together. Sorry, Taiwei's dad. My own dear dad isn't blind. My dad is the best, most loving dad in the world. I silently repented in my heart. The woman still wouldn't let it go. You don't even know my qualifications. My family's house just got demolished and we got over $800,000. We also do some business, easily making over $100,000 a year. If it weren't for the fact that you're handsome, you wouldn't even have a chance with me. Hilarious. 800,000. I spent over 8 million just to buy Bai Ningbing. Her qualifications aren't even worth as much as the robot standing next to me. And she dares to act rich in front of me. Does she have a death wish? She peered behind me. Where's your car? Why don't I see it? I knew you were bluffing. If I hadn't gone and asked your dad, I would have almost been tricked. Do you see her? I pulled Bai Ningbing close against me. Just thinking about you pisses me off. Cucking me right to my face. I took a deep breath to calm myself down, trying my best to speak peacefully. Lady? This is my girlfriend. I have nothing to do with you. I only accepted your friend request, not a marriage proposal. If your delusions are this severe, you really should go see a doctor. If my dad promised you anything, just treat it like a fart and let it go. Has greedy for money and short-sighted. This woman is the one he pushed on me a few hours ago. He even said her qualifications were way better than yours. I'll pay for this meal. My dad is right at that vigorous age. If you want something, go find him. There's absolutely no chance between us. Stop asking me out to eat. I can't handle it. I held down Bai Ningbing, who was on the verge of exploding. I handled the entire situation myself. She only served as a human prop, which made her very unhappy. When we got home, I immediately reported the good news to Yang Taiwei. Yang Taiwei was touched beyond words. Fang Yuan, no matter what, I have to treat you to a meal. I sent a sticker of a guy wearing sunglasses. No problem? No problem. I put my phone away, ripped the tags off my new clothes, smoothed out the neat collar, folded them, and put them in my suitcase. Bai Ningbing was bustling about, hanging up my laundry. She happened to see me closing my suitcase.
Are you going back to live at school?
No, a friend is treating me to dinner. Do you need to bring clothes just for dinner? Yeah. He's usually too busy, so it's rare for us to go out.
What does that have to do with clothes?
I put my hands on my hips and laughed. This is all your fault. Bai Ningbing was confused. What does it have to do with me? Exactly. So what does it have to do with you? Ignoring Bai Ningbing's accusing glare, I told her to be a good girl and wait for me at home, and once again slammed the door shut. After dinner, we partied too hard at the karaoke bar. I didn't get home until 3 a.m. I opened my raspy voice and called out for Bai Ningbing.
Wifey, I'm home.
Sure enough, Bai Ningbing wasn't asleep yet. She hurried out of my room. her face dark as she poured me a glass of water. Out playing this late, I had a bit to drink, so I was feeling a little dizzy.
Yeah.
No, next time.
What happened to your voice?
High note competition. I won. Bai Ningbing chuckled softly by my ear. Her warm breath felt like a feather tickling my ear. So proud of yourself. She noticed I had changed clothes, and her expression instantly dropped.
Why did you change your clothes?
Threw them away. She looked tense. Threw them where? At the KTV, probably? It's fine. Am wearing clothes right now, aren't I? Bai Ningbing looked awful. This shirt wasn't among the clothes you brought with you. It's Li Xin's. I wore his. He wore mine. Hearing that, it was a guy's name. Bai Ningbing finally relaxed. She wiped my face, then wiped my hands. After putting the towel down, she went into my room. A moment later, she brought out a clean set of pajamas. I covered myself with both hands. What are you doing taking off my pants? Bai Ningbing pursed her lips. You reek of alcohol. Hurry up and change. I'll do it myself. Let me do it. I tried hard to pry open my heavy eyelids, but failed. I had no choice but to take off my pants with my eyes closed. Bai Ningbing grabbed my hands. The bathroom is over there. I'll take you. I nodded sluggishly. I'll go change in the bathroom. After a few steps, my legs turned to jelly. Worried. Bai Ningbing supported me all the way to the bathroom. The bright, warm light in the bathroom shone on her, highlighting her high nose bridge and cherry lips. The alcohol went to my head. I reached out and touched her cheek. If only you really liked me. Bai Ningbing frowned, looking confused. How could it be fake? She took down the shower head and started filling the bathtub, then sat me down on the toilet lid. Coaxing me, she asked, what's your relationship with that woman you met today? A blind date. Our dad made me go. Our dad. I forced my eyes open and tapped her nose.
You really fell for it.
Bai Ningbing's eyes, hidden beneath her long lashes, were dark and unreadable. She changed the subject. You'd even settle for someone with just a few $100,000. Did your family go bankrupt? I suddenly jolted awake and cursed. Your family went bankrupt. When I woke up in the morning, I was wrapped around Bai Ningbing as usual. I was already well aware of my indecent sleeping habits. As for what happened last night, my memory was pretty fuzzy. It wasn't until I got up to change clothes that I realized someone had already changed me into my pajamas.
You changed me.
Bai Ningbing blinked.
Yeah.
I even gave you a bath, even though I knew she was just a robot. I still couldn't help but flush bright red from my face all the way down to my neck, even though you're not human. You can't just do that.
I have privacy too.
Bai Ningbing's expression froze slightly. She paused, then asked, Are you insulting me? I felt completely baffled.
When did I insult you?
She dragged out her words. Not
Human.
It seemed I had hurt her pride. You're not human, but you are my wifey.
You're my goddess.
Seeing that I had coaxed her into a better mood, I reached up to grab my jacket, but accidentally knocked my notebook onto the floor. Bai Ningbing bent down to pick it up. The pages fluttered open. She read the words I had written out loud, word by word. Too stiff.
Runs too hot.
Doesn't dare look at her master. It was supposed to be a perfectly normal buyer feedback log. So why did it sound so dirty and perverted when she read it? Bai Ningbing raised an eyebrow. What is this? I said confidently. Your user feedback. That seemed to put her in a pretty good mood. She smiled with a hint of suggestion. Have you used me to write something like this? Why did that sound so ambiguous? Aside from touching and hugging, I never had any other inappropriate thoughts about Bai Ningbing, but I couldn't help subconsciously glancing at her chest. Caught by her gaze, I let out a dry laugh. I felt your size that day when I was looking for your switch.
Not bad. Not bad.
Well designed. Bai Ningbing's face darkened. Do you get handsy like this with your other women too? I hurriedly defended my innocence. No, am not a pervert. Bai Ningbing pressed on relentlessly. So you really do have other women. I wanted to cry but had no tears. Why are you always setting traps for me? I told you, I don't. I don't have anyone. She seemed very satisfied with that answer. She ruffled my hair, then got up to make me breakfast. After class, a few of my roommates gathered around to gossip. In a few days, there's a tennis tournament between the colleges. Should we go check it out? Don't want to. It's too hot. There might be hot girls. You're such a buzzkill. Speaking of hot girls, could anyone be hotter than Bai Ningbing? I raised both hands in agreement with that statement. Going all the way out there to watch people play sports. I'd rather go home, enjoy the AC, and touch my woman. Speaking of Bai Ningbing, she seems like a totally different person lately. Went from gentle and obedient to a cold, aloof boss lady.
What do you mean?
She just doesn't really talk to her friends anymore. Is your info even accurate? I heard she's been catching people at night and asking them where her master is. Beautiful girls really know how to play. Straight up S&M. But when I heard the word master, my heart skipped a beat. Oh crap. Did Bai Ningbing come to school looking for me? If the real Bai Ningbing finds out that I secretly custom-ordered a robot that looks exactly like her, the consequences would be unimaginable. However, The most important thing right now is to confirm Bai Ningbing's location. After all, that was just my guess. If I guessed wrong, then everyone's happy. For the entire afternoon, I was filled with anxiety. When classes finally ended, Yang Taiwei and Li Xin looked at me and sighed. Fang Yuan isn't coming back to the dorm again.
I laughed it off.
I'll be back to hang out with you guys in a few days. I opened the door to my place. Bai Ningbing was still busy in the kitchen wearing an apron. Seeing me back, she seemed a bit surprised. You're back early? Panting, I sat down on the couch and chugged half a glass of water. I turned my head and asked her, "Did you go out today?" Bai Ningbing nodded. My heart dropped. I quickly pressed, "Did you go to my school?" She shook her head. The massive weight on my chest finally lifted. I patted my chest, feeling a bit emotional. It seems the real Bai Ningbing really is into S&M lately, and even played herself into becoming a loner. Pitiful, tragic, and sad. Even though me custom ordering a robot isn't exactly normal either. She is clearly way more perverted than I am. Bai Ningbing set the tableware down and asked me casually, "Fang Yuan, do you like me?" A sweet domestic girl who wouldn't love her. Aside from burning a hole in my wallet, she has no flaws. I picked up a piece of pork belly with my chopsticks and replied while eating, "I like you." What about the junior girl who confessed to you? She held up her phone. On the screen was a confession text from a junior girl. Didn't I reject her? And the sports major from the neighboring college isn't my type.
I didn't miss.
The fleeting smile in her long, narrow eyes. An inexplicable flutter rose in my chest. I coughed lightly and forced my attention back to the delicious food in front of me. She handed me a glass of warm water. After my mood settled down, I suddenly fell into an inexplicable panic. I sent an email to the developer, asking if it was possible for a robot to develop human emotions and fall in love with its master. I hadn't received a reply yet. Bai Ningbing leaned in closer. "What are you looking at?" Feeling guilty, I slammed my laptop shut. Nothing. For the past few days, I've been waking up feeling completely drained and sore all over. I suspected I was sleepwalking at night. So I asked Bai Ningbing, "Did I get up and walk around in the middle of the night?" Bai Ningbing touched my forehead with concern. "No! Are you sick? Why do you have so many weird thoughts?" Bai Ningbing was becoming more and more like a real person. Realizing this didn't bring me an ounce of joy. Instead, fear gripped my heart. When she wasn't looking, I secretly installed a hidden mini camera in the room. I wanted to see what exactly was happening to me at night. During this time, I opened my laptop and saw I had received a reply. "Hello, sir. Regarding the situation you described, with our current technology, it is absolutely impossible. I guess I really was just overthinking it. A whole week passed without incident, making me almost forget about the camera. With trembling hands, I opened the video footage, only to find that in the dead of night, Bai Ningbing slowly pulled me into her arms, kissing and caressing me, and taking off my pants. I was shaking all over, ignoring Bai Ningbing who was walking toward me. I called the development company's headquarters and demanded a replacement. Bai Ningbing pinned me against the corner of the bed. The phone in my hand clattered to the floor. I was scared out of my wits. Bai Ningbing leaned in close to my ear, her voice husky.
"What's wrong? Isn't the real person satisfying enough?"
"Why do you insist on playing with a fake?" I forced a stiff smile, finding it unbelievable. "Are you saying you're the real person?" Bai Ningbing blinked innocently. "Fang Yuan, I didn't expect you to hide your feelings from me so deeply. If I hadn't found your email a few days ago, were you going to keep hiding it from me forever? You'd rather buy a fake replica of me than take the initiative to come find me." She was so close that her breath brushed against my neck. An ambiguous atmosphere swirled around us. I wanted to break free, but my legs had already weakly turned to jelly. Bai Ningbing took the opportunity to grab my waist, keeping me from rolling off the edge of the bed. I wanted to cry but had no tears. I wished the ground would swallow me whole. "I chased you for so long, but you never reacted. You were so aloof." Bai Ningbing raised an eyebrow, her tone rising. "You chased me. I was aloof. But I felt like you were the one being too cold." I still refused to believe that the person in front of me was the real girl I dreamed about day and night. I reached out, feeling around her body for a switch.
Liar.
"You must be a fake." "Stop touching me," Bai Ningbing said, her voice hoarse. In her eyes was a surging tide of emotion I couldn't understand. "If you keep touching me, you'll have to put out the fire you started yourself." That scared me so much I didn't dare move a muscle. She let out a soft chuckle. Knowing it was really her made my face burn. It was clearly just an ordinary laugh, but it made my cheeks burn hot. As I lowered my eyes, she tilted my chin up and kissed my lips. "Be a good boy and eat. I'm going home for a bit. I'll come pick you up tomorrow morning." "Pick me up for what?" Seeing my dazed expression, she sighed and deepened the kiss. It wasn't until I was kissed so hard I was lacking oxygen that she reluctantly let me go. She even rubbed my moist lips with her thumb. "Did you hear me? Hubby." This soft touch. She called me hubby. Damn it. I had actually been calling Bai Ningbing wifey for so long. After Bai Ningbing left, I pulled the covers over my head. My entire face was burning up, ready to explode. I just wanted to leave this world right then and there. This incident was enough to make me die of social embarrassment.
Wait.
If Bai Ningbing was here, then where did the robot I bought go? I opened my phone to check the delivery address. It turned out that when I placed the order, I selected the default address. The robot was still at school. In a flash of lightning, all the clues rushed through my mind. Everything finally made perfect sense. I hurriedly rushed to school to bring that robot Bai Ningbing home. I thought no one would notice what I was doing, but unfortunately, some busybody posted it on the school's confession wall. A picture of me holding the robot Bai Ningbing's hand as we walked off campus spread throughout the entire school.
Oh my.
Our great campus belle is dating. Looks like the guy is the dominant one in their relationship. My roommates frantically tagged me in our dorm group chat. They were yelling, "Fang Yuan, is this you?
Oh my god.
When did you manage to score Bai Ningbing?" I smiled bitterly. It's a long story. Yang Taiwei cheered me on from the sidelines.
I'm rooting for you.
Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing are truly a match made in heaven. Li Xin agreed. I think so too. I totally ship you two. How did things end up like this? I opened the social media app, trying to figure out how to explain this massive misunderstanding, but I saw that Bai Ningbing had beaten me to it. She replied under the post, "Not boyfriend. Hez my hubby. We haven't even gotten our marriage certificate yet. Where did hubby come from?" I called her to demand an explanation. Bai Ningbing answered the phone, acting all mysterious. "It's just 1 day early." "What do you mean, 1 day early?" After I brought the robot Bai Ningbing back, I turned her off and put her in the corner. Turns out the robot's switch was so easy to find. No wonder before. I felt all over the real Bai Ningbing's body and couldn't find it. Thinking back to that day, my face couldn't help but heat up. My palms still seemed to carry the sensation of her touch from that day. I wiped the sweat from my palms, but that ambiguous feeling refused to fade. A dreamless night, when the first light of dawn broke, footsteps came from the living room. I suddenly jolted awake. Seeing who it was, I hurriedly straightened my clothes, but Bai Ningbing just chuckled softly.
What are you afraid of?
"Is there any part of you I haven't seen?" I was teased so much my face turned red. "You took advantage of me, and you still have the nerve to say that? Sorry." Bai Ningbing helped me up.
I was just afraid you'd fall for someone else.
"Besides, you already called me wifey. Are you trying to back out?" I twisted my fingers together.
I'm not.
She pulled me over to the high stool by the sink. She washed my hair and wiped my face all in one go. After getting dressed and heading downstairs, I dizzyingly got into her car. When we arrived at our destination, I looked at the bright red characters in front of me and almost fainted on the spot. Civil Affairs Bureau. Bai Ningbing looked at me pitifully.
You don't want to. I was so anxious my tongue almost
Tied itself in a knot. "No, I don't mean that." "Then let's go in." But I didn't bring any of my documents. Bai Ningbing blinked and actually pulled out everything we needed. "What did you think I went home for?" I was dumbfounded. My parents actually just handed the household register over to her just like that. The person I had been dreaming about for 10 years, who now held my ID card,
Was now standing shoulder to shoulder with me.
on the way to get our marriage certificate. I actually felt a wave of awkwardness. I held her hand tightly, and she held mine tightly in return. Even after we received our 2 little red marriage booklets, I still felt like I was in a dream. At night, when it was time for bed, I crawled under the covers early. "Hubby, today is our wedding day. Did you forget something?" Watching Bai Ningbing's figure draw closer, I couldn't help but shrink back a little. But then I suddenly thought, she's my wifey now. What am I hiding from? So I lifted my face and feigned composure. I didn't forget. A devout, solemn kiss fell upon me like a tidal wave, sending an electrifying, tingling sensation down my spine. "Don't hide." I shot her a reproachful look. She smiled, covered my eyes, and said, "Return that thing." I knew exactly what she was talking about. But I asked on purpose, "Return what?" "Plain dumb, are we?" Bai Ningbing whispered between one kiss and the next. "My husband is still being stubborn. Looks like I'll have to kiss him until hez soft before hell tell the truth." "Plain dumb, are we?" Between one kiss and the next, Bai Ningbing noted that her husband was still being stubborn. "Looks like I'll have to kiss him until hez soft before hell tell the truth." My ears were buzzing. My vision went white. I couldn't hold on anymore and tried to push him away to catch my breath. But he pulled me back firmly. "Are you backing out?" Another kiss was about to fall. My body went weak as I relented. "Fine. I'll back out, okay?" But he was so wicked. He coaxed me into saying so many embarrassing things. And he still wouldn't let me go. Finally, Bai Ningbing interlocked her fingers with mine and collapsed in exhaustion. She asked me casually, "Do you still remember what you wrote in your notebook?" My mind was a complete mess. "Where?" "I can't think of it. I don't remember." Seeing my vacant gaze, he wrapped his arm around my waist and gave me a hint. "What are you looking at? What are you looking at?" "I don't dare look at Master." My face instantly turned beet red. I raised my hand and gave him a weak, playful punch.
I want a refund.
Bai Ningbing's side story. When I was 10. Fang Yuan moved in next door. With just one look, I fell in love with this boy who looked like a porcelain doll. He said had liked me since middle school. But the truth is, I've liked him much longer than has liked me. I'm just very good at hiding it. As for why I never made my feelings clear, ultimately, it was because I couldn't bear the thought of him rejecting me. More and more girls started showing interest in him. I realized I couldn't just sit around and wait for the worst. I knew the house Fang Yuan was renting wasn't far from the university. I wanted to tell him how I felt. The moment he opened the door, our eyes met. His gaze wasn't distant like before. Instead, it held a hint of hidden joy. His cheeks were as red as apples. I didn't understand why he wanted me to turn around, but I did as he asked anyway. But then, things spiraled out of my control. He, a boy, actually started putting his hands all over me. I didn't mind his touch. In fact, I quite enjoyed it. But I couldn't let things develop in such an uncontrollable direction. Stop messing around. Once I said that, sure enough, he stopped moving. But then I regretted it, wondering if I'd been too harsh. It turns out I was overthinking it. He actually reached down to unbutton my pants. I jumped back several steps trying to stop him.
"Don't move," he said.
I felt him leaning in close, his slender wrists wrapped around my waist. My breathing gradually quickened. It felt like I was drowning in his tenderness. I noticed that his gaze was fixed on a certain spot on me. Then again, maybe I was just overthinking it. I tightened my throat and asked him, "Fang Yuan, what are you doing?" He replied, "You should call me master." It completely threw me off. So, he likes to play like this. Soon after, he changed his mind and told me to call him husband. I was overjoyed. I wanted to ask if he was serious, but he beat me to it and confessed his love. So he likes me too. My heart was suddenly filled with an immense sense of joy. Soon, he asked a strange question, "Wife, where is your power switch?" I had no idea what he meant, but his explanation hit me like a bolt from the blue. Does he mean what I think he means? And then he made his move on me. That strange sensation sent a jolt of electricity from my tailbone straight to my head. I couldn't help but let out a soft moan, pulling away from his hand. I felt a surge of anger. Who taught him these things? An ex-girlfriend. I've always kept an eye on him. If he had a girlfriend, there's no way I wouldn't know. I can't even imagine him doing things like this with another woman. I demanded to know where he learned that. He said he just guessed. That made me breathe a sigh of relief. Thinking back to his bold actions earlier, he suddenly told me to close my eyes. I didn't keep my promise. After seeing exactly what he was doing, I found it even harder to face him. How could he, in front of a strange woman, wear nothing but his underwear? No one else is allowed to see that but me. I also came to an important conclusion in his heart. I am the person he trusts the most. I felt like I had betrayed that trust. He said he had to go to class. I wanted to nurture our relationship, so I asked my teacher for a month of sick leave, looking forward to spending more time alone with him in our own little world to avoid any distractions. I asked my friend to only message me if it was an emergency. I switched directly to my private account. It was because of this move that I failed to realize for a long time that my own husband had actually bought a robot behind my back. The time I spent with him made me so happy. Hearing him sweetly call me wife made my entire day. But gradually, threats around him began to surface. Technology these days is so advanced. Even these micro-expressions can be identical to the original person, but I won't allow it. Jealousy burned in my heart like a raging fire. I wanted to establish the most stable relationship possible with him. He asked me if I had one, and of course I did. I couldn't wait to be tied to him forever, he said with total indifference. The words "no official status." It felt like a knife stabbing deep into my heart. The email he sent left me confused. I checked his order history. Finally, I understood the whole story. I understood how he truly felt. What happened that night followed naturally. I wanted to possess him quickly. That way, he would never leave my side. I realized how despicable I was being, but I refused to let go. When he wanted to return the goods, I realized I couldn't hide it anymore. Thanks to that photo on the school wall, I had the perfect chance to go public. After that, getting our marriage license was a breeze. After the wedding, I held his hand tightly, making a vow to never let go for the rest of our lives. The end.